It's because he's slow.
Oh, we're live. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to Live Time Chat with us.
Somebody stinks a little bit.
Yeah, well,
No, you're alright.
could be me. I'm going on
I
that.
don't know.
What's it smell like?
I don't know. Maybe it's slightly like BO, a little bit.
Yo,
It could be me. It's been a while since we've done a live.
I think it's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, yeah, for sure. Sorry guys, we've been super busy here at the shop, so.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks, obviously, for everyone.
Lots of crazy shit's going on the last couple of weeks too.
We're
so.
going to give everybody just a couple of minutes to sign on, both on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, well, our guy's just not on his shit today, so.
I didn't even set this camera up, so you can shove that way up your nose.
Wow, boy, you got rude. Shove it up your nose.
Nice and all.
That's kind of rude, Basil.
Also, while we're waiting on
Where's Jen?
where's Jen? Haven't heard that question in a while. All right, so while we're waiting, giving people a couple
From
minutes,
Pakistan.
let's talk a little bit about what we're gonna give us a couple topics we're going to be discussing.
So, we've had protests, we've had new legislation, we've had, again, walkouts, we've had topics of teachers carrying in schools, some things we're going to talk about today.
Bomb in a school.
Okay.
That
That's the cliffhanger.
oh, that was a cliffhanger.
It
was.
I kind of destroyed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sort of why I didn't bring it up.
Political comments made by major companies within the industry.
All right, tell us a little bit about that.
Let's talk about that.
All right. So Daniel Defense, they
Just on himself.
well, to some degree, they made a statement. They came out and made a statement saying that he was in favor of new legislation, kind of backing what the NRA was also proposing.
See if I can find that somewhere.
And yeah, that'd have been smart to have pulled up before now. wouldn't it?
Weird.
Anyway, but and here comes the comments. I won't buy from them. So
Now, I believe that's where you started at.
my initial statement was I don't
Jennifer's
think we'll
off
be
there.
selling their product anymore.
There it is, right?
And then Marty, Daniel from Daniel Defense came out and made a comment, a new statement, apologizing. Have you read it?
Kind of clarifying. I haven't read the new statement. After the first one, I just kind of lost interest, honestly.
Pretty much, I think what's going to come down to is he didn't know what he was talking about. I think people were kind of informing him on the law that was trying to get passed or the new legislation. He didn't.
I think he thought he was trying to do the right thing.
Right. He didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle yet, and then came out with a statement. And then after knowing a little bit, he came back on it. And
I don't believe there's any part of that guy that is anti-gun. His entire livelihood, literally, is because of the firearms industry.
here's what I will tell you: if I was in that situation as an owner of a firearms company, I would have just shut the hell up.
He should have. He should have. So we want to know your opinions on that one. So, did you find the statement, by the way?
No, I didn't. I found where he came back and said something, but that was it.
So, are most of you familiar with that? What took place, and if not, we can elaborate just a little more. But again, we're talking about Daniel Defense, the statement they initially came out with, and then they came back and revised it a few days later. Basically, the first statement saying that he was in favor of new gun legislation, the same bill that the NRA was somewhat backing, and then he, of course, everybody came out of the woodwork and totally ripped him up for that.
Yeah, I can't find it. Long story short, by the way, everybody.
Hey, Alex, 1 second.
Yeah.
The mic might drop on this for a second. It's low. I'm going to go try and find another battery.
Okay.
Can you just unplug it? Is it still working?
Well,
No,
no,
just
just let it run.
Yeah.
Okay. So just before we do these lives, by the way, Steve comes over and hands us a piece of paper, and he's like, "Hey, we're doing a live." So we don't really know what we're getting ready to talk about other than the topics he's laid down in front of us. So that's why we didn't have him, prepared, ready to go.
Happens sometimes.
Bad Steve.
Bad Steve. So he came back out, had another statement. Pretty much, he's trying to claw his way out of it.
Yep.
Are we on that?
Our battery power is low on YouTube for the mic, so if you lose audio on YouTube, please let us know.
All right. So
He went to go get a battery. He'll be right back.
He went to grab it back.
So right now we have kids protesting outside of schools. I think it was yesterday. Is that right?
Yesterday was the national walkout. Yep. We actually had some students here locally that walked out. I guess there's about 100 out of the school system that walked out here.
No kidding.
Yep.
I know.
And they originally said that they were going to be met with some relatively harsh punishment if they walked out. And today they were all given a 2-hour suspension.
Because why?
2-hour after school suspension for walking out during the protest, walking out of school. But there's some really crazy stuff that happened now. They're a California school, and I don't remember what city it was, actually locked their gates to keep the students from walking out. The students basically rioted and broke the gate down and got out. Said, hell with you, man, we're going.
There were some riots. I saw another one where some of the kids tore down the American flag in protest.
Now, see, I'm all for it. That's what our country is founded on, freedom of speech. These kids want to voice their opinion, that's fine. Voice your opinion. But when you start attacking the American flag, that's where I draw the line. It's not acceptable. I mean, it is freedom of speech. I get that, but no.
Didn't somebody bring up to us
and you're not going to do it when I'm around.
Didn't somebody bring up this morning that somebody's trying to lower the age to be a registered voter?
Yes, it's California. Yes, and Gonzalez, I think was his name, was proposing that the voting age get dropped down to 16. And then a lot of people were saying right after that, well, okay, if you're going to do that, then drop the drafting age down to 16 and so on and so forth. And his opinion was that all these kids have this voice and they can't be heard. Well, I mean, sure, I get it. I'm not saying that these aren't reasonably intelligent kids, but they're also being swayed greatly by the media. And
that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they don't have enough life experience to be able to understand the big picture. So
Lack wisdom.
They absolutely lack wisdom. So.
Yep.
But I do applaud them for taking a stand, and I don't know how you guys feel about that, but they, that's part of growing up and part of life and part of learning is standing up and taking your position and standing your fucking ground and not letting go. I don't necessarily think they're doing it for the right reason. They're being misled a lot of the times, but they still did what they believe in, what their hearts told them to do, and I applaud them.
I said, I applaud them for exercising their First Amendment rights. However, it's a little ironic that they exercise their First Amendment rights to protest their Second Amendment rights, which is literally the only thing that guarantees the protection of the First Amendment.
Right.
So,
but they don't get that. They're 14, 15, 16 years old. They've been exposed to an extremely unfortunate tragedy. They were so unfortunate to have to live through this type of tragedy, and I understand that they feel frustrated. They don't know how to fix the problem.
But do you think media or politicians are swaying
absolutely
what they're thinking, maybe even turning those into votes later?
Absolutely. Look at what
No
CNN
question.
did. I mean, when they were scripting these kids and telling them they couldn't answer their own questions in this open forum and rewriting the questions for them, and then when the one kid wouldn't do it, they kicked him off the open forum debate. I mean, fuck CNN.
Thanks.
okay.
Sorry.
So that's why our channel's going to be shut down soon.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I just get fired up over stuff like that, man. It's just wrong.
Another thing I've noticed, a lot of people, politicians, are coming out and they're chopping up guns on video. Like, this is one less gun out there.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
It's just dramatic. I mean, all they're doing is looking for ratings. They're capitalizing on trauma. I mean, they're capitalizing on a horrific accident that these not accident, but a horrific thing that these kids went through, and using it for their own agenda.
But as gun guys, what do we notice first thing, Steve?
They're committing a felony.
Yeah. And ATF, I saw a report the other day where ATF was starting to investigate those. So.
Yeah. So when for those of you that don't know, when you if you want to destroy a gun, great, destroy a gun. When you cut the barrel shorter than 16 inches, per ATF guidelines, that is, whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, it is illegal and is a felony because you've created a short-barreled rifle. And so
they know so much about guns that they didn't know that.
Yeah. So in some of these cases, these guys are doing that, and they're creating SDRs.
But they're trying to do this for saying that we need some new legislation or something like that. But at the same time, they don't even know the rules that are on the books now. As in a 16-inch rifle, and then they're still trying to pass other things. Heck, they don't even know simple day-to-day rules.
let's talk about something positive for a second.
Sure.
We're talking about the protest, and there was a group of kids. You gonna try to change your battery right now, or are you good? There was a group of kids that came out with another idea instead of a protest. I don't know what they called it, but it was. I loved every bit of it, and it was they spent their time, instead of protesting, taking post-it notes, and they wrote down something to different students in the school. And they went from locker to locker, and they put post-its on different people's lockers that they thought needed to be reached out to. And they said at the end of it, there was not one locker that was left without a note on it. Whether it was reaching out saying, hey, how's it going, thinking of you, whatever. Just kids reaching out to other kids that maybe they normally don't reach out to.
We talked about that last time a little bit. You know, what could have changed if somebody would have said, hey, how's it going, you know? Or come over to my house, you know, we'll eat dinner together, a sporting event or something.
Yeah.
You know, reaching out during this type of event.
You know, I think it's on all of us. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal or otherwise. I think it's on all of us to educate our children. One, to reach out to other children, and to make them, if they see somebody that seems bothered, certainly you can let teachers know. Obviously, if you think there's somebody that's going to harm somebody, but also just to make kids feel like they're a part of something.
Sure.
I was just getting ready to say that Van to die.
What's that?
Bullying. Parents should start with that first and foremost. Make sure that your kids aren't bullying, talking down, or mistreating other kids. And if they see someone else, I've told my son over and over and over since he was little, not like he's real big or anything, but if he sees someone else getting picked on, he better jump in and stop it. And if he can't stop it, he better go to a teacher. And that's been the rule from day one. And if he gets in trouble for it, I'll back him up 120%.
120.
120%. I guarantee I'll go to the mat for him, promise you. The kids who can have the responsibility to help the ones that can't. So you need to instill that in your children, in your neighbors, you know, in your cousins, your nieces, your nephews. I mean,
says instead of walking out. Thank you, Todd. He said instead of it being called walk out, it was called walk up, and I missed the rest of what it said because I was.
Hashtag walk up so you can look it up.
It was a positive event, is what he was saying.
Yeah, it was a positive event.
So I know Florida.
Thank you, Todd.
Just passed a bill to raise the minimum age to buy any firearm to 21.
Yep.
Which is what the national bill is also proposing.
Right.
And then they're also saying there should be a 3-day hold period, just like what Illinois does now.
Yeah.
And for, I believe, everything.
Yeah.
Illinois does 24-hour wait on long guns.
Right. No.
Right.
I'm saying as this bill
Florida,
is saying.
yeah.
Florida is saying on everything.
Florida is a 3-day wait if you do not have a handgun. I talked to my cousin who lives in Florida. He said it is, if you do not have a Florida handgun permit, you have a 3-day wait.
As it is now.
Yes, as it is now.
So they're going to take away that
If you
exemption.
have a permit, you can walk out with it, and that's what they're just going to omit that portion.
So what's our thoughts on that? I mean, at 18, you can do a lot of things for your country, for yourself.
You can vote.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should it just be one or the other? Should it still be the way it is?
Honestly,
the
it
pros
doesn't.
and cons.
It doesn't bother me. Honestly, the one exemption I would make is if we have one of our kids that are gonna join military, that those kids should be exempt. If you're in the military, whether you're in a reserve status or active status or whatever it is, you should be able to purchase a firearm. Other than that, I don't really care if it goes up to 21. I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, a handgun can be just as lethal as a rifle or a shotgun. So, I mean, you're kind of apples to oranges. And, I mean.
Somebody asked, do you get angry when you see politicians protesting guns, but they've got all these armed guards around them? You know, it's hypocritical. So, I guess to each their own. But it's kind of talking out both sides of their mouth.
So what do you think? I don't know if we've answered this question. Should it be one way or the other? Should it be the way it is now? Or is there any positive to this type of bill or legislation?
Well, the 3-day wait, I don't think has anything to do with anything. I mean, the unfortunate this Roost. I mean, he had planned this for how long? 3-4 months, whatever it was. He was posting stuff on social media that he was going to do it. So a 3-day wait sure the hell wouldn't have stopped him. So I mean, that doesn't solve anything.
You know, I think the most important thing here is, we talk about, somebody posted something about voting. Whether we realize it or not, whether there's an election coming up or not, we vote every single day of our lives. And what I mean when I say that is you vote with your dollar.
Yep.
You choose where you're going to spend your money. You choose who you're going to support. And I'm going to encourage you guys, if you are, whatever it is you believe in, it doesn't even have to be deal with that. We pause for a split second. So whether you're passionate about abortion or you're passionate about same-sex marriage or whatever, guns, if there's something that you are passionate about, choose where you spend your money and support businesses that support the way you
So you're
think.
saying the way you spend your money is just as important as being able to vote.
Absolutely.
It's a vote that you get to use every single
because and here's the reason why. We've shown it where we called locally for the boycott of a restaurant when they put up their no guns allowed. By 11 o'clock the next day after we posted it, they not only took it down, they called us to inform us they took it down because they had been inundated with so many phone calls that next morning. So you know, at the end of the day,
The power of the people won.
that's right. They realized it was going to cost them money. So you
And this was a national chain. It wasn't a mom and pop here in town. It was a corporate.
You can make change without going to the voting ballots.
Well,
you can also make change by spending your money with people that believe the way you believe.
You, for example, won't shop someplace that has a no gun sign.
I will not. I will not. In fact, we will not buy anything at Toys R Us, and I've been calling for that for quite some time.
You realize that today they came out and said they're closing all their stores.
They are, and I.
That's because Steve won't buy anything.
That's because I won't buy anything. So, you know, but we have been for several years now. We've been saying, hey, if you don't agree with this, you know, Toys R Us was on that list of that we had put out on a different channel, but we had put that list out and said, look, if you're not in alliance with the way they believe, then maybe you should choose and think hard about where you're going to spend your money.
And enough people follow suit, they will feel the pressure.
So we have a lot of things going on too, like, you know,
We gotta bow out.
Alright,
teachers.
Guys, I got crap I gotta do. See you on the next one.
Steve, with teachers carrying guns, we'll make this our last topic real quick. All right, teachers carrying firearms in classes. I know we've had a lot of people say do it, don't do it. But I think here recently, and I'm not aware of this story, but a teacher fired a firearm in the classroom, I believe. So tell everybody about this.
I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Basil probably knows more about it. It makes me sick to
done.
hear that. Do you have information on that?
When I get to a place where you can hear me. From what I read in several articles, it was a guy who was going on several. He was teaching about public safety, and he was also a reserve police officer. And I don't think they released the details on what exactly has happened yet. But one way or another, the weapon discharged in the classroom, but no one was hurt, but it happened.
Sure. I mean, and that stuff's going to happen. I mean, you can't stop everything out there, you know, no matter what it is.
No.
I mean, if you give teachers the ability to carry in the classroom or don't carry in the classroom, honestly, I don't have the right answer for that topic because I can see some positives and I can see some negatives.
We were going to talk about the kid that took the pipe bomb to school or whatever kind of bomb it was in his backpack.
Yes.
There's really no reason to push that anymore. You know, the one thing I will bring up before, unless you have anything else.
No, go ahead.
All right, so to close out, here's what I'll say. We as a store talked about it. We've talked to our instructors here at the store. We've talked to all the managers, and we all agree that we are going to volunteer our time and offer free training to teachers. And so I'm going to encourage any of you out there that are watching right now, if you are an instructor or own a store and have access, or you own a range and you have access.
And I just want everybody to know, we're not just going to bring up in our training classes.
It's not just about
firearms.
guns. No.
I mean, it's a lot to do with function of a firearm or the sound of a firearm. I think that's important. Being able to hear the sound, knowing how loud that's going to be.
So, you know, if you have the resources in your community to pull off something of this nature, reach out to your local schools. And
you guys are more welcome to
teachers.
reach out to us and kind of find out what we're doing. And we'll gladly say, hey, this is what we have going on, guys. This is kind of what we suggest.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's about educating people, making them have more knowledge than they went into a situation with, and perhaps at the end of all of it, maybe we save some lives. So,
guys, we appreciate you stopping in today, just talking to us for a little bit. Next week, we're going to try to do it again, just with the climate that we're in. We've been so busy. Comment on this video, Facebook, YouTube. If there's other topics you want us to bring up, definitely get our attention. Send us a private message. Write it on here. It doesn't matter. We'll gladly try to bring it up next time.
all right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you all soon. Talk to you in a few.